Hi, Doc. How are you going today?
It's going really, really well. I'm at a outdoor music festival. It's 95 degrees out. My friend is up playing some Merle Haggard right now, and this is what I'm going to be doing all weekend: camping and jamming.
Living the life, living the dream.
Yeah, and that's part of what we're going to be talking about tonight. Actually, did you know that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So many times people say, "Oh, I can't wait till I can quit my job and do this full time." Weren't you just saying that?
Yeah, I was. I'm working on it.
Yeah. So my question to you is, how bad do you want it?
For me, very badly. I'm
Very
committing
bad.
probably 2 to 3 hours a day.
You're spending 2 to 3 hours a day working on your Sizzle business.
Yes. Yes.
Excellent. Give yourself a thumbs up. That's perfect. That's what I was saying earlier. If you dedicate the time to actually working, so many people, I think they sit down in a room, they move their chair around, they think they're working, they go get a drink of water, they think they're working. That's not working, is it?
It's not. No, I've created a Facebook page, and I'm creating lots of posts about information regarding health and throwing in a few Sizzle products here and there. And I'm building up a great following, and it's very important to create that trust with people that you're communicating with.
Right.
So yeah, that's what I'm doing at the moment.
Well, you have such an awesome story, Marsha. I mean, just real quickly, like, what's your 3-minute speech?
Okay, well, for 7 years I was extremely unwell. Most of you have probably seen my before and after photos on some of the posts that Kurt and Tom have shared, and that I have shared on the product testimonials pages as well. So I was really at a point where I wasn't functioning at all, and I was making myself, I could hardly walk. I was not really able to have a conversation with people comfortably. I would keep forgetting my words. I would always be saying, "Oh, what's that word? What's that word?" And then while I was thinking of that word, I totally lost track of what I was even talking about. I was on a few different drugs for pain and sleep and shaking and really bad food allergies. So I had really severe insomnia and very bad chronic fatigue as well. So I was really suffering a lot. And
how much better are you now?
Oh, look, so much better. 6 months after taking the age pill, actually it was like within 8 weeks of taking the age pill, and I was taking 6 and 6. I was back at full-time work, and I would definitely say I wasn't 100% healed by any means, but I was able to function. I was able to get out of bed, and I was able to walk more than 5 minutes without feeling like I was going to collapse or my legs were going to give away from under me. So so it really gave me some belief or lots of belief in.
What product do you attribute all that change to?
Just the age pill.
The age pill. Everybody, the age pill. And so that's why Marsha, one of the reasons Marsha jumped on here tonight, because she knew we were going to talk about the age pill, right?
Exactly.
Because you've learned a lot. So, really tonight's topic is getting healthy and reaching your goals, because, I can tell just in the excitement of your voice. If you tell that story to people, some people are going to want to have what you have. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And you really can do this full time, and you can make a living at it. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you're helping other people, that should be the best paid profession in the world.
Yeah, exactly.
That should be we shouldn't be paying athletes and these politicians all this money. Yes. This money should be going to people like you and you and you, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But Marsha, how many times do you talk to people about the product, about the age pill? You're telling your story, and they say, "How much does it cost?"
Yeah, all the time.
Right.
All the time.
The next thing they say is, "Oh, I can't afford that."
Yeah. I know a lot of people who would love to be on all the products, Kurt, but they simply can't afford them. And I felt like that at the start as well, or they don't have enough belief to get themselves to come up with the money. So
the question you have to ask your friends is, when are you going to grow up enough that you're not going to have to say that anymore? You're going to have to go out and figure out how you're going to get the money, just like you did. You were sick, you weren't working, somehow you found the money. And here you are. Look at you today.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I wasn't going to give up.
Yeah. I mean, I had a guy join me in the business. He had to sell his antique pool cues to get enough money to join the business.
Yeah.
He had this collection. And sometimes that's what it takes. You got to make that decision. So, you know, Marsha, as we go through the slides, you know, that's what we're going to be talking about is that, you know, when you're talking about people who just never get it, they'll say, oh, I can't afford that. Oh, we can't do that. We don't have enough money. No, not this year, maybe next year. And when you talk to somebody who really gets it, and I tell people this, when you're out prospecting, you're talking to people, they get excited and they say, how do I do that? And they say, you know, what do I need to do?
Exactly.
I talked to 3 people this afternoon, and that's exactly what they said to me. They said, I want to be doing that. How do I get started? Right? You know, right away, people say, well, how do you know if I found the right person? It's not hard.
Yeah.
Hard. But you know, the people who are maybe negative on it, the thing about it, they might be negative because they're sick, like you were, and they're hurt so bad that they can't possibly think about the future.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So a passage from Rich Dad, Poor Dad, he says, when my poor dad wanted something that wasn't part of the budget, he wouldn't deny himself the item by saying we can't afford that. What he would do is he would say, I'll figure out how.
Yeah.
Have you ever read that book?
I have, yes. Excellent book. Excellent book. And I so agree. There is always a way.
There's always a way.
It will be. And I think one of my favorite slides on my Facebook page is if you don't make time for your wellness, you'll be forced to make time for your illness. You know, eventually we all degenerate and decay, and we're going to need to spend money on, you know, fixing our bodies. So
might spend your money on
preventative, you know, for me.
And then you start asking yourself, when is it my time? When is it my turn?
Yeah.
When do I get what I deserve? You know, Marsha, I think a lot of people in today's world, they ask themselves that question. They're asking the right question, but then they answer it wrong. They think that other people should give it to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Nobody's going to give it to you. You have to go out and you have to work for it. And so you set your goals and you say, this is what I'm going to do, and I deserve it. And it's going to be hard. You know, just like you're putting in 2 hours a day into your Sizzle business. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, we talk about vitamins a lot, nutrition, and sometimes people say, well, aren't you taking too much? Because they watch me taking like a handful of pills every morning and then another handful at night. And they say, oh, Kurt, aren't you taking too much? You ever get that?
No, because nobody's really seen me. But if I'd know what to say straight away. If somebody said that to me, I'd be like, well, it's like taking a handful of really incredibly healthy fruits and vegetables that are all organic. So, you know, it's helping my body to function properly. So that's how I look at that. Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing about it, when you have nutrition that works together, like, you know, by taking the age pill, you can jump on, you can take any of the other Sizzle products and they mix well.
Exactly. Yes. That's really, really important to know. So that, I guess, you know, that's probably one of my next questions. Really, a lot of people have asked, you know, what is the best combination for products, and what, you know, what do I take for this and what do I take for that? So of course, for us, it's, you know, we've got access to the Facebook page that, you know, delivers information about our products, product testimonials and question and answer pages. So I highly recommend that you hop onto that and read some of the posts, because if you're spending, you know, some time, maybe half an hour a day on wanting to build your Sizzle business, part of that would really be is educating yourself about products and what they do. And you'll start to suddenly, realize that you're building up a bit of a toolbox in your mind about what goes together and what products are recommended for certain illnesses and
Marsha, this is a good time. You just said something that you kind of hit the nail on the head. When people mention certain illnesses, we all have to be really careful. Exactly. As a physician, I can say more than you because I'm a doctor. But most people don't get that, and they start talking about, oh, their illnesses. What can you do for this, or what can you do for that? And that's where we really got to be careful. And I know the compliance department put out a post on it like a week ago, and Tom just put a post on it yesterday on Facebook. And he said, we just really have to be careful on what we say so we don't even insinuate that we're making the mention of cure or treat. But that's where I think that a lot of times, Marsha, you can imagine people say to me, they say, oh, Kurt, the reason you're doing so good is because you're a doctor.
Yeah.
Right. And actually, it kind of slows me down. And this is the truth, because people say that so much that they don't join me because they go, oh, you're just a doctor, so you can do this better than us. And then they won't join. And then later on, they try and get me to join them in their business, thinking that, oh, now they'll have a doctor.
Yeah.
And I say, really, in reality, Marsha, you're in a better position than I am, because you can tell people, hey, we got a doctor on our team. Let's call him.
Yeah. And I often do refer to you, Kurt, that any information that I give is backed up by Sizzle brand partner in America. So feel free to, connect with him and have a chat with him. So that's how I get around that. So we have for you a support there. It's perfect.
This age pill, I mean, what a weapon against aging, right? Against the war against aging. What just a great product this is. And aging is really the result of decay and degeneration in the body. And so if we can slow it down and increase that health span, because who cares if you're 120, but you've been crippled up for 40 years? It'd be more fun to die at 80, right? Yeah. So a lot of the science now is going into researching how to stay healthy. It's not going into how to live longer. We figured that out. And so the age pill, it's based on science, the real science from major universities and researchers. And these researchers, they found that a certain form of vitamin B3, whether it's nicotinamide riboside or nicotinamide mononucleotide, nicotinamide, there's just all these different versions of vitamin B3. And the end result is that we want them to form into something called NAD, right?
Exactly, yep.
And NAD combines with hydrogen and it forms the ultimate form of energy for your body. And that's the whole thing. So if you can stimulate that to happen, what it does, it gives you the energy and it gives you the feeling that you had 20 years ago, maybe when you were 20 years old. And activating those stem cells is just so important. But it's, some people tell me, they say, well, if I take the age pill, do I need to take anything else?
Yep. What do you recommend, Kurt?
Well, that's a good question. So I say it works really, really good with a lot of products. But the first one that I talk about is Eternity. Have you ever heard of resveratrol?
I have, in your amazing story about your dad.
Yeah. Well, resveratrol got the research on resveratrol got the Nobel Prize a number of years ago. And because they discovered that resveratrol activated a gene in your body called the SIRT1 gene. And this SIRT1 gene, what it does is it repairs damaged DNA.
Exactly. I was just going to say that it's very important to, support healthy stem cells at the same time. You need to be healing your gut as well as, repairing your DNA and your stem cells.
That's right. And so when you're repairing the DNA, doesn't it stand to reason that if you're going to stimulate the stem cells, wouldn't it be nice to have healthy DNA? So the Eternity is kind of my, when I'm talking about anti-aging, Eternity is kind of my second go-to product. But we start looking at these other products like we call them the Triangle of Life, and these other products called Fucoid and Spectromax. And next week I'm going to be talking about Spectromax most of the week because I've discovered some new things. Things. But,
so I've seen something previously, Kurt, in regards to Fucoid working to support the system that mobilizes stem cells. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
You bet. With that, great. I'm glad you've heard about that. Yeah, because one of the research articles that I read on Fucoid is that it helps to mobilize the stem cells. So in our body, if you can imagine, you've got stem cells in your ankle, and you've got stem cells in your knee, and you've got stem cells in your hip. You got stem cells in and around your bladder and your gut, your heart, your shoulders, and your neck. And what happens is it's kind of like if you're driving around the town you live in and you see an ambulance sitting there, and that's their station, and they're waiting for somebody to get in an accident, and then they can mobilize the ambulance to the location real quickly. They don't have all the ambulances on the south side of town, because if somebody gets hurt in the north side of town, it just wouldn't make any sense. And so you can imagine your stem cells are all over your body, and when you injure your ankle, your brain's not going to pull the stem cells from the top of your neck down to the bottom of your ankle. So you're going to reduce your healing ability, because you're not going to have enough stem cells, because as we age and as we have more stress, we have less stem cells. So what fucoidan does is fucoidan's got a way of sending a message to the brain that says, hey, go grab some of those stem cells from up here. We don't need them up there right now. We need them down here. And it'll move it down the body to where, or up the body, sideways, wherever it needs. So great question. And at the same time, it's working with the kidney, and they're finding that research that says that if your kidneys are damaged, it's going to cause a lot more problems with your stem cells. Your stem cells are actually going to go into senescence quicker if they're I can't have that, but if there's damage to the kidney. So the fucoidan is really, really good too. So again, you can imagine when you use the age pill, you want to be on Eternity because it activates the SIRT1 gene. You want to be on the fucoidan because it mobilizes those stem cells.
Exactly.
And it's SpectraMax. Oh my God, SpectraMax. I was reading up on some of the ingredients today. Marsha, it's unbelievable, some of the ingredients in SpectraMax, how it makes the digestive system so that the permeability is supposed to be the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah. Well, it really supports the body in functioning the way that it should.
That's right.
But because of environmental toxins and pesticides in our foods and the air that we breathe, and product that we're putting on our skin, if it's not from Sizzle, then you really need to be supplementing with something that supports our systems to deal with that overload toxins. Yeah,
and so here, on the fucoidan again, I mean, down in the bottom, I have to put that disclaimer. It's not approved by the FDA. It's not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, prevent any type of disease. So I just want to be clear on that, so nobody thinks we're treating. But the fucoidan, they found that it does support a healthy immune system. It works with the gut lining to improve that permeability, like I was talking about. But it also takes, and it gets rid of inflammation.
Exactly. Yeah. And inflammation, look, it is probably one of the biggest problems with health issues these days is inflammation. Yeah.
That's exactly it. Yeah. Inflammation is one of the major components of every single chronic disease. So you're dead on target, Marsha.
Yeah.
Are you a doctor?
I'm just well educated because I was so sick with autoimmune, and it really is just inflammation.
That's right.
It's the immune system responding to.
When you were sick, you found yourself studying and learning how to talk about this stuff.
Kind of, I guess. It's kind of just coming to me naturally. I've just educated myself about wellness and supplementation, and I have done for 16 years. So I'm certainly not a doctor and I don't know everything, but I guess when I came across all the Sizzle products and they started working for me, and it just got me so excited that number one, with the age pill, my brain suddenly started functioning properly. So I think that all of those, all of the information that I'd collected over the last 16 years was suddenly just in the forefront of my mind. I had the recollection of all that memory, and it's all just the pieces of the puzzle have just all come together. And with the help of the age pill, my brain function has improved so much that I'm now able to have a conversation without stalling several times. There's no way in 12 months ago that I would have been able to get onto this call with you.
Hold. I want you to tell your story about how you're happy all the time. And I mean, just tell that, because before we went on this recording, everyone, Marsha and I were sharing a little bit, and a few of you were on, you were listening. But, Marsha, tell everybody, how much better does it make you feel now?
Like I'm about to burst with happiness. And like I was saying to Kurt before the call, that I didn't realize how, and I won't use the word depressed, but I'll say how down I was, that I didn't have a love and a zest for life. And I was definitely taking a low dose of an antidepressant, which I was given through my GP for anxiety, depression, and panic attacks. And I'd gotten myself down to a very low dose, so I was very happy with that. But look, I don't really know. Like I said, I'm not a doctor, but I do believe that medication did do something to my brain. So I'm off it now, and like I was saying to Kurt before, that people come up to me all the time and say, "Wow, you look great," or people I hadn't seen for a few years. They're saying, "Wow, look at you! Wow," they either hadn't seen me for a long time, or they've seen me 5 years ago, and see me now, and my eyes are clear, and I'm able to articulate well, and I don't forget my words through a conversation, and I'm not hiding in the bedroom or in the house. I'm excited about seeing friends. I'm feeling happy. I'm so excited about life. So, and that's just from the age pill.
Wow, how many people could use that? If you're listening to us on Facebook, give us a thumbs up. Come on. You hear Marsha tell that story. You got to be thinking, who do I know that could use that? Who do I know that wouldn't mind being on what Marsha's on? Right? Yeah. I'm telling you folks, this is the kind of magic that we start to hear every day. You start hearing about people that they call you up and they just want to tell you their story, how much better they're feeling.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
We were talking about SpectraMax a little bit. SpectraMax, it really fills in the gaps, because modern diets, when you take a look at the food that we're eating, it's calories, low in nutrition.
Sure is.
And so this stuff tastes pretty good too, doesn't it?
It does. Beautiful, yeah. Fucoidan's my favorite. It's quite nice and fruity.
You like that little spicy taste that it has?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. I like that too. I could drink the whole bottle.
Yeah.
But,
actually, when I first did Fucoidan, Kurt, I didn't read the instructions properly, and I had 30 mils 3 times a day before meals, and I finished the bottle in, I don't know, like 2 weeks or something, and I felt good. I felt like I could fly. And
no wonder you got healthy. You super energized your system. You got rid of all the inflammation in just a matter of weeks.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. It's incredible.
Here's one of my favorite products.
Yeah.
The TSX.
I haven't tried this one yet, Kurt, to be honest with you, but I just cannot wait to get on it.
Yeah, TSX is amazing. When I first got introduced to Sizzle, it was because of this product right here. I was traveling to St. Louis to do a talk on environmental medicine. They had hired me to speak. And on my way there, I stopped in Omaha to see a buddy of mine. And he said, "Hey, Kurt, have you heard of this product?" I said, "No." He said, "Well, here, listen to these recordings on your way to St. Louis." And so I listened to a couple of recordings of Tom talking about the Fucoidan and the SpectraMax and we didn't have the H pill then, but the Triangle of Life. I listened about all those 3 products, and I thought, well, that sounds pretty good. Another magical juice. That's what I thought. And oh my God, there's how many juice products on the market, and now we have another 3. And so it really didn't catch me. It really didn't drag me in. But when I listened to the recording on TSX, I got out my pen just like that, because I learned about telomeres only a couple weeks before that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's a very important product. But what I do know about it is it's incredibly important to support the telomeres. It's just as much as important as to support that healthy stem cell activity. So, we know that through some of Tom's recordings that telomeres are responsible for aging. So, and our lifestyle and environmental toxins are responsible for these telomeres reducing in size and causing that aging and disease.
Well, and the easy way to think of it, Marsha, is just imagine that when your mom and dad got together and conceived you, that fuse was lit. And from the time that 9 months that you're forming in the womb, in that 9 month period of time, 1/3 of the total telomeres, the nucleotides that your body gets, you burn them before you even pop out of the womb.
Yeah.
And then they say over the course of our life, we burn another 1/3. And when we get down to the last 1/3, toast, like Tom says, get out the jelly, get out the peanut butter.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
And so what TSX is based on, in 2009, the Nobel Prize was given to a group of scientists because they discovered that you could rebuild these telomeres. You could rebuild the fuse. You could make it longer again. And by doing so, you could extend somebody's life. You could extend their health span so they have more years that they're not getting sick.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So that's a great product. You know, and Marsha, I had to throw this slide in here because as I was looking at all the Sizzle products, I thought, oh my God, which one can't we talk about? I mean, they all work with the age pill, right? I mean, if you're using toxic toothpaste or toxic shampoo that has dioxins and chemicals that cause cancer, then why in the heck are you spending your money trying to extend your life if you're going to kill yourself with the stuff that you're putting on your skin?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
you know, Doc, I think it's really important to know too that there are so many people actually out there that are buying supplements from chemists and even supermarkets. You know, I walked past somebody the other day looking at the wall of vitamins in Coles and Woolworths here in Australia, and I almost went up to that person and said, don't waste your money. Come to me. I mean, you know, it's not a waste of money. I shouldn't say that because, you know, all vitamins do have their place. But I think that, you know, the Sizzle products are just so incredibly powerful and do deliver the results that we're looking for. And a lot of the time we don't know what it is that we need for our bodies to function well. And I think that when you become part of the Sizzle family and you listen to these calls and you read the newsletters and, you hop onto the Facebook pages and read people's posts about their testimonials and their product and question and answers, you're going to learn so quickly about what works best with what and what you can recommend. And then if you can just, help one person to feel better, they gain that trust with you. And that's when they will start telling their friends and family as well. And of course, during that time, you can then introduce other products as well because they'll start to tell you about their health issues.
Are you a philosopher?
No, not at all. I learned from the best, Doc.
All right. No,
I've listened to a lot of your recordings.
I like having this conversation with you. You bring up some of the stuff that I may have forgotten. So I love it. Yeah, everybody, if you're listening on Facebook, give us a thumbs up if you think Marsha's doing a great job. She asked me the other day, what was it, a week ago? You said, is there any way you can help me start doing presentations? And here you are. I
am, exactly.
You're a pro at it. I think you went to college for it.
Not at all. Not at all. I'm just excited. I'm totally into this 100%. I'm loving the journey and loving what I'm learning, and even more so loving helping other people. And it's, you know what, Kurt, it is just a bonus that I get paid for it.
That's right. It's a bonus. Yeah. Yeah. But like I said, there's nothing wrong with being the highest paid person in the world if you're helping other people.
Exactly. And that's when you're going to make your money, Kurt, helping other people.
That's right. So, I always tell people, take a look at your talents. And you're thinking to yourself, oh, listen to Marsha. She's just a natural born speaker. Maybe you're not. Learn how, right? But, Marsha, you do have that quality. I have to say that. But if you're listening to this call and you don't have that natural born ability, you could take some training on it or go and find people like Marsha to join you in your business and then help them get started talking about the business. Man, I'll tell you what, Marsha, you're going to be a superstar.
I'm actually doing a couple of presentations in the next few months and speaking at an event for at least an hour. So I'm very excited about that. And I'll have to create a PowerPoint presentation for that. So it is starting. It's just, it's been part of my journey for a long time. I've always wanted to have a business ever since I had one many years ago when I was married. And I've dabbled in a few things here and there, and I've learned a lot of things along the way. And I've, joined a lot of groups on Facebook too to see what other people are doing. And, I've gone to a few seminars myself too about how to build your business up, even though I didn't know what sort of business it was going to be. So I've just been investing in myself, and I suggest that everybody, does the same it's free information on Facebook. So why wouldn't you? It's right there. So I guess if you want to learn how to do that, it's all there for you, and the support is available. But, I think the first place to really start is to educate yourself on one product. Educate yourself about your favorite product, whether it be the H pill or Fucoidan or Spectramax or whatever it is, or even the tea. Start talking about the tea. If that's what you know and you're familiar with it, talk about that. Talk about the health benefits, that it's I love the tea. I love the green sencha tea. And I open the packet and I get people to smell it and say, oh my God, smell this. It smells so good. It's like this lovely, warm, cup of goodness every morning. It's so, it's starting conversations with people, and you'll be surprised just how many people will start talking about how sick they are during your conversation.
That's right.
That's
wow.
One thing I've noticed in the last couple of months since I've been well and I've been out and about and, talking to people or on the train, when I'm on the train for work, all the time I'm hearing about people who are, going to the hospital or visiting somebody at the hospital or talking about what their doctor said or how sick they are. It's incredible. It's so widespread. Everybody that you'll talk to will benefit from what you have to say, even if it's just tea. So start with that, build up a conversation, build up their trust, build up their friendship, and then go from there.
Yeah, and they buy into your excitement. Marsha, it's the end of our half hour. What do you think about that?
It is. Goodness, yes. So thanks everybody for joining our call, and so thanks Doc Fizz.
Thank you, Marsha. You're a natural at this. Thanks.
So are you. Right. Thank you. Teamwork, hey?
All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a great weekend.
Remember to read those newsletters that Kurt sends through every week as well. Really important.
Oh, yes. Thank you for reminding me.
Lots
make sure share that newsletter, because we put all our recordings from the week. I've got the Connect call on there. I've got the new comp plan calls on there.
Yeah,
so
excellent.
All right.
Have a lovely weekend, Kurt. Enjoy that concert.
I will. Thank you.
We'll speak to you again next week. Bye, everybody.